I will now take you through the rules of this game or simulation. And all of you should now have in front of you a work mat on your table. And if you look at that one, you will find some colorful boxes which represents the different phases of the game. And important on those boxes are the amount of resources that you have to your disposal. On the mat you can also see the phases of the project and some information of the project itself. There is also a place where you put the money that you are going to use in the game and also the contingency. The colorful staples in green and orange, they are where you record your standing when it comes to a client, team and schedule. And if we think about why we are doing this, it is basically learning by doing. We have found in many cases when it comes to risk management that it's much better to play a game like this rather than having someone standing up and holding a PowerPoint presentation. After all, we know that in construction we are managing risk all the time, and it's then difficult to have someone lecturing about it. It's much better to play a game, and the main thing is to have a very good discussion about what is happening. And in the game, we are looking for some preferred behaviors. So if you have those behaviors, you will be awarded in the game. And it's basically Skanska's way of handling some situations. You will have limited resources, the small cubes, which means that you will not be able to choose whatever decision you want. You will have to prioritize and choose the least bad. There are some limitations in the game. It is a simulation. It's not the real world, but it's close to it. And it is a construction project. It's not development. It goes from bid to close out. So the project selection has already taken place before the game starts. That has been done by your senior management. It does not include learn and lead in safety, and it does not include living our values. Both of those are code of conduct issues where there is no choice. You just have to do it. So it goes without saying, and there is no alternative. And it does not include talent management because that is taken care of in other training programs that we have within the company. So if we then look at the project, it is a design and build of a commercial office, and it is in a city center location. It includes refurbishment and some civil works, i.e. foundation works. The award criteria is not only price, there are also some soft parameters involved. It is a lump sum value of 400 million Skanska dollars, and we have chosen to use Skanska dollars because we don't want to, since we are playing this within the whole group, we don't want to get into any currency discussions. So it is Skanska dollars we're talking about. The gross profit is 40 million Skanska dollars, and the contingency you have at your disposal is 9 million Skanska dollars. And I will now read the assignment to you that you have as a team. You are the project management team of the project, and your task is to make a number of decisions throughout 7 phases of the project. You will face risks and opportunities, and you will decide on how to tackle them. On top of the resources, some actions will also require usage of the risk contingency that has been assigned for this project. Your goal is to maximize the profitability while keeping the schedule, thus deliver the project on time and making sure the client and project team are happy. So it is basically business as usual. And lastly, it's a really challenging project and you will face some tough decisions. And at this point of time, I would like to have someone of you read out the information that is in the lower left end of the work mat, where there is some additional information about the project. If we then look at the project phases, it is 7 of them, and they include planning, bidding, negotiation, design, procurement, construction, and closeout. And the different phases have different activities included in them. So as an example, if we look at phase 4, that includes planning, it includes design, it includes procurement, and also start of construction. The resources, the small square wooden cubes, are limited for you, and there are different numbers of them in the different phases. And as you can see on this slide, the arrows are showing how many resources you have in each phase. So as an example, if you look at phase 1, you have 9 resources. In phase 2, you have 11. And in phase 3, you have 13. And you don't have to use all of these resources, but you cannot save them until another phase, and you cannot buy additional resources. So you should now start by placing 9 resources on the phase 1 light blue box. And then if I ask you, what do you think the resources mean? They are representing time, people, and effort. So the resources are not representing money, which is then instead the Skanska dollars. We will record how you are doing throughout the project, and you will start with 40 million Skanska dollars in the beginning, and you will have a risk continuous of 9 million. And to the right, the staples you have there we are going to follow up the clients, the project teams, and the schedule, how they are doing. The external money that amounts to 20 million Skanska dollars is money that is outside of the project. You will use that when you increase the gross profit or the contingency, or if you take money out of the project due to that you are reducing the gross profit or the contingency. This will be placed and shown in the value holders that you have in the bottom of your work mat. The event cards are important for the game, and this is an example. And if you look at the numbers on the top, there is to the right there is a card number 3, and each card has its unique number. You also have the phase number, which is given here as phase 1, and then you also have the scenario number, which is the steel price fluctuation. In this example, it just happens so that the scenario number and the card number are the same. That is not the case on the other cards. And this card number 3 up to the right, that is purely for administrative reasons, and each card has a unique number. If you look at the card, you will have your actual situation heading. So in this case, it is 2 types of pricing offered. You should read that carefully, and the best thing is to have one person in the team read it out for the rest of the team members, and then you decide afterwards. You then have 3 different alternatives on the actions. On this card it's shown as action A, action B, and action C, and you have to choose one of them. If you look at the very bottom, depending on what action you will take, you will have it will cost you different amount of resources. So if you go for action A, for instance, it'll cost you 2. If you go for action B, it will cost you 2, and you will also have to add 1 Skanska dollar as contingency, which means that your price goes up with 1 million. And if you choose action C, it costs you 1 resource. So you will have to choose one of these 3, and you can see in the bottom how much that will cost. And depending on what decision you make here, A, B, or C, you will get different cards in the next phase. The risk register is how we follow up on the risk contingency. And in the beginning you had 9, and here you can see how they are distributed. You have 3 for design development and so on. Pricing errors 0, quantity errors 1, ground condition 1, latent defects 0, insufficient staffing 1, and subcontractor issues 2, and contract deviations 1. So they sum up to 9. And if you in phase 1 added 1 million Skanska dollar as contingency, you will have 10. And in this case, you have added that for the pricing error. So your total number of contingency money is shown in the bottom. It is after phase 1, it is 10. And you will continue following this up so you have a control over how much contingency you have left, both on this document and in your value carrier. Later on, you will find that sometimes you run into the situation where you have a negative number. You have spent more contingency on that item than you had in the beginning, but then you will have to transfer that from some other item on your risk register, which is how it goes in real life as well. The report sheet is very important. That is where you register your decisions from each phase. So in this case, in phase 1, you have B, A, C, B, C. And it's very important that this is filled in properly and that you hand that over to us or the facilitators. And this is what they will then use to type into the Excel sheet on the computer. So if it gets wrong here, it will get wrong in the computer, and then we will have a mess. So this is very important that it's filled in properly. And also here it's good to have one log keeper within the team that keeps track of this. So when you're done with this, hand it in to us as soon as possible, and we will do the Excel calculation. And be aware then and be careful about the scenario number, which is the same as you can see to the left here on this example. And it's not the card number, it's the scenario number. And also beware that some boxes will not be filled out. And you will also see later on, depending on what decisions you will have made, different teams will have different cards in the next phase. So it's only in the first phase where you have the same cards throughout all teams. Once this is done, you will then get back the new cards for the next phase. And then the first thing you should do is to look in the upper right corner. That is where you can see the outcome of your decisions. So in this example, you get, this is latent defect risk, and you are in phase 2. It will not change your gross profit. It will have an effect on the client. It will give you -1 on client, but no effect on project team and no effect on schedule. Whatever is in the outcome there, you should log on your work mat so that you keep track of what is going on. At the end, we will get a winner, hopefully. And this is how it is calculated. And on this example, the team has 44 million as gross profit at the end. They have 2 million left as risk contingency. And then they have client is down at -2. The project team is +6, and the schedule is +4. And the way to calculate this is that everything that is negative, we will take 1 million Skanska dollar away. On the other hand, everything that is positive, you will divide that by 2, and you will be given the amount of dollars divided by 2. So in this example, the client will give you -2 million dollars as a penalty, will be taken away. The project team will be 6 divided by 2, will be 3, as you will be given. And the schedule is 4, which divided by 2 is 2. So the question I have now to the audience is, what does this example, how much is the total? So there will be some time where you think about it, and then you will come back with an example. And the answer is 49. So it's 44 for the gross profit. It is 2 for the contingency. It is -2 for the client dissatisfaction. It is 3, which is 6 divided by 2 for project team, and it is 2, which is 4 divided by 2 for the schedule. So the total is 49.